Someone is paying attention to you right now. Not in a creepy way, not obsessively, but quietly. They notice how you move, how you speak, how you smile, and something about it bothers them. Your confidence irritates them. Your calm unsettles them. The way you walk into a room without apologizing for your presence makes them uncomfortable. What makes this confusing is that you haven't done anything wrong. You didn't hurt them. You didn't betray them. You didn't take something that belonged to them. You're just living your life. And for some people, that's enough to trigger resentment. It sounds strange, but it happens every single day. And there's a reason for it. Actually, there are 5 reasons. When you understand them, something important shifts. You stop questioning yourself. You stop wondering what's wrong with you. Because the truth is, nothing is. Let's break this down. The first reason people resent you is simple. You make your own choices. Most people don't. Most people crowdsource their lives. They ask for opinions before they move. They ask for permission before they decide. Should I take this job? Should I end this relationship? Should I move? Should I change? They wait for approval because it feels safer than trusting themselves. But you don't live that way. You think things through. You listen to yourself. You decide. And then you act. You don't explain every move. You don't defend every decision. You don't need everyone to agree with you first. And that quietly threatens people. Because when you choose your life without asking for permission, it forces others to confront how little control they have over theirs. It reminds them of every time they stayed silent, settled, or said yes when they meant no. And that realization hurts. So instead of being inspired, they get defensive. They call you reckless. They say you're selfish. They say you don't care what people think. But the truth is simpler than that. You didn't become selfish. You just stopped handing other people the remote control to your life. And people who gave up their control don't like watching someone else keep theirs. When you walk into a room comfortable in your own skin, not trying to impress, not scanning for approval, something shifts. People notice, and not everyone likes what they see. Your freedom reminds them of their own self-imposed limits. And instead of questioning those limits, they'd rather pull you back into the same box they're living in. This is why people gossip when you quit a job everyone said you should keep. This is why they talk when you leave a relationship they thought was perfect. This is why they judge when you move forward without asking for their blessing. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your life. Not your friends, not your coworkers, not even your family. The moment you truly accept that, some people will dislike you for it. And that's okay. Living for yourself is better than living for approval that was never guaranteed anyway. The second reason people resent you is this. You started growing, and they didn't. There was a time when you were on the same level. Same problems, same mindset, same struggles. You complained together. You bonded over being stuck. It felt equal. Then something changed. You started waking up earlier. You became more intentional. You worked on yourself. You learned new things. You took responsibility. Your body changed. Your mindset changed. Your energy changed. And now, when they look at you, they feel something uncomfortable rising inside them. Not pride, not happiness, bitterness. Because you're proof that change is possible. And that threatens the excuses they've been telling themselves for years. It's too hard. I don't have time. Life is unfair. I can't change. But you did. You found the time. You did the hard things. And now those excuses don't hold up anymore. So they start acting different. They pull away. They make jokes that aren't really jokes. They say you've changed. They say success made you different. And they're right. You did change. That was the goal. But to them, your growth feels like abandonment. Like you broke an unspoken agreement to stay stuck together. Growth is lonely not because you lose people, but because you outgrow them. You outgrow the conversations. You outgrow the habits. You outgrow the mindset. And even if you don't say anything, they can feel it. They feel that you're moving forward and they're standing still. People don't like feeling left behind. So they either try to slow you down or they quietly disappear. They invite you to waste time when you're trying to build something. They mock your goals. They bring up your past when you're focused on your future. Or they distance themselves completely. You didn't betray anyone by growing. You didn't abandon anyone by changing. You simply reminded them that they chose comfort over progress. And that's a painful mirror to look into. Not everyone is meant to come with you. Some people are meant to stay in earlier chapters. Trying to drag them forward will only slow you down. Your growth matters more than their comfort. The third reason people resent you is this. You stopped pretending. Most people are performing. They perform happiness at work, confidence at social events, agreement in conversations. They laugh at jokes they don't find funny. They nod along with ideas they don't believe. They pretend to care just to fit in. Why? Because they're afraid of being rejected. Then you show up and stop playing the game. You don't fake laugh. You don't agree just to keep the peace. You don't pretend to enjoy things that drain you. You're honest, calm, real. And that makes people uncomfortable, because now they have to perform even harder to maintain the illusion. Louder laughs, bigger smiles, more pretending, and that's exhausting. So instead of respecting your honesty, they label you. They say you're negative, too serious, no fun, difficult. But what they're really saying is, you make me uncomfortable because you remind me that I'm not being myself. Real people make fake environments nervous. When you stop pretending, you lose people who only liked the version of you that performed. And that's not a loss, because in exchange you find people who don't need you to act, people who value honesty, people who feel relieved when someone finally says what everyone else is thinking. Those are your people, and they're worth losing 100 fake connections for. The fourth reason people resent you is this. You stopped chasing attention. Some people only like you when they feel needed, when you text first, when you're always available, when you drop everything for them, when your life revolves around their validation. Then one day you stop. You get busy. You focus on your goals. You stop overgiving. You stop chasing. And suddenly they panic, because now they can't predict you. And people hate what they can't control, so they test you. They ignore you to see if you'll chase. They post things for reactions. They create drama to pull you back in. And when you don't react, it frustrates them. They say you've changed. They say you don't care anymore. But the truth is, you didn't stop caring. You just stopped making them the center of your world. You didn't neglect anyone. You stopped carrying relationships alone. Real relationships don't require you to constantly prove your value. Real connections don't punish you for having a life. You're allowed to be busy. You're allowed to have priorities. You're allowed to not be available all the time. Your energy is valuable. Spend it where it's respected. The fifth reason people resent you is this. You're genuinely okay, and they aren't. Some people live in quiet misery. They've accepted it as normal. They wake up unhappy. They go to bed unhappy. And they've convinced themselves that's just life. Then you show up at peace, calm, grounded, healing, and that disturbs them. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your happiness proves that misery isn't inevitable, that healing is possible. And that's a truth they don't want to face. So instead of looking inward, they lash outward. They mock your positivity. They call your peace fake. They minimize your growth. Because if they can pull you into their sadness, they won't feel so alone in it. But your happiness is not an attack. Your peace is not a betrayal. You are not required to stay broken to make others comfortable. You're not supposed to dim your light for people who refuse to turn theirs on. This is why peaceful people get called fake. This is why happy people get called annoying. Living your truth will always disturb people who are running from theirs. When you set boundaries, someone will call you selfish. When you grow, someone will say you've changed. When you're honest, someone will call you rude. None of that means you're wrong. It means you're real. The world doesn't punish bad people as much as it punishes free ones. Because free people remind trapped people that the cage was never locked. Stop apologizing for being yourself. Stop explaining your choices to people who never wanted to understand. Let them be confused. Let them talk. The right people won't need explanations. They'll just get it. You don't need everyone to like you. You just need to be okay with yourself. And when you are, it doesn't matter who isn't. Some people will stay. Some will leave. Both are a blessing. So keep living, keep growing, keep healing, keep shining. Now tell me, which of these 5 reasons hit you the hardest?